Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to talk about a topic that I had been asked about um, during my time working at the school as a special education paraprofessional because there were multiple days, obviously living in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, there were multiple days where our students were not allowed to go outside for recess. So what I wanted to talk to you about is what actually happens when kids have to do indoor recess. So, do they get recess? What are they allowed to do? Working with the age group that I worked with, they definitely got indoor recess. I feel like they needed that break. They needed the time to move around and, not have to focus so much on classwork or academic work and just kind of be able to relax and, like I said, move around, breathe a little bit. And just kind of have fun. So basically, the rules for our students being able to go outside for recess was they went outside for recess every single day unless it was raining or unless the feels like temperature, so not the actual temperature, but the feels like temperature was below 11 degrees Fahrenheit. So if the feels like temperature was 10 degrees, the kids were not going outside for recess, okay? If the actual temperature was like 20 degrees, but the feels like temperature was 10 degrees, the kids are not going outside for recess. There were a couple times where it wasn't like raining super hard. It was kind of more like that misty, drizzly type stuff. Where we did allow our kids to go outside because we felt like they just needed that total break, being able to play on the swing set and the playground. Like they needed to be outside, okay? So yeah, there were a couple times when it was like that we still let them go outside. But if it's like actually raining, like, yeah, they had to stay inside. So what did we do on those days? I know that there were other teachers that did different things, but I will talk about our classroom first and then I will discuss what other teachers did. So in our classroom, which was mainly ECSE, which is ages 3 to preschool, so 4 or 5, what they did if they didn't get to go out for outdoor recess, we always let them have indoor recess. So they were able to choose different centers. We had multiple different types of centers in our classroom. We had like an imaginary play where we had like a kitchen, we had dolls, we had like a table, different things like that. They could pick from that. Normally we weren't able to get that center out though because the kids would throw the little plastic fruits and bowls and all that stuff. They would throw them at each other. So a lot of the time, even though the kids really love that center, we were not able to get that out. It just kind of depended on the behaviors in the classroom. There was like a creative center where they could color, they could use coloring books, they could paint, and that was normally like a group activity. Occasionally we would let them have like a crayon or a marker and give them a blank piece of paper and just let them have at it. But that was normally like either right after breakfast while we're trying to get people changed. They could draw or color then. Otherwise it would be more of a group activity. So that wasn't really one that we did normally during indoor recess. We had Mr. Potato Heads where we could bring out a whole bin of Mr. Potato Heads and they could, put Mr. Potato Heads together. A lot of the kids wanted to wear the earrings on their ears, or they were fascinated with the lips and things like that. They would try to wear the little hats. It was super cute. We had farm animals with different little like play barns, kind of like the dollhouse barns. We had those. We had blocks, which tended to become projectiles through the air. So sometimes we couldn't do that either, depending on behaviors. Our kids could read books at the table. We had like the like the cardboard books where they could sit and read at the table or just like look at the books. We would sometimes have somebody, like we would put a little container of books on the table and have the kids sit down. They could pick a book to look at, or we would bring one of our other books to the table and we would read to them. Sometimes we did that during snack though, so that wasn't always like a recess activity. Other things that they could choose from, we had cars, we had stuffed animals, we had a lot of different things in the classroom that they could choose from. So normally we would choose one of those activities, or actually we would let the kids choose 2 centers to get out normally. Sometimes we would only have them choose 1 center, so we would only get the 1 center out. It kind of just depended on what the kids wanted to do. So now that I've discussed what we did in our classroom, I'm going to talk a little bit about other things that other teachers did that I know of, just in case you're curious like what other grade levels might do. So for first grade, if they weren't able to go outside, I know there were certain first grade teachers who would either put a movie on for an hour or however long, or they would let the kids because in every classroom there's a cart full of Chromebooks, because like all of our standardized testing is done on Chromebooks now. So every classroom has Chromebooks, every student has a Chromebook assigned to them. So sometimes the teacher, if they weren't able to go outside for recess, they will just let them, go get their Chromebook and bring it back to their table and sit. And there were certain websites that they were allowed to go to. We did think that YouTube was banned from the Chromebooks, but apparently there were some kids that were able to get to YouTube. I saw this in kindergarten, okay? One of the students in kindergarten, this wasn't during indoor recess, so I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with indoor recess. This was during their playtime. But like in one of the centers, they were allowed to either do puzzles or read books or get on their Chromebooks. Well, this particular student went on YouTube. And there is a list of like different websites that the students are allowed to go and play like educational games on. There's ABC Mouse, there was one called ABC Yeah, and there was another that I can't think of at the moment. But the kids knew where they were allowed to go and what they were and weren't allowed to go to on these Chromebooks. And this one particular kindergarten student went to YouTube and was watching music videos. So, yeah. Other than that, like other teachers that I'm aware of, they would let their kids like read books or, do these fun like little paper activities that weren't like technically academic, but they kind of were, like dot to dots and things like that. So yeah, indoor recess, I think recess is a necessity in elementary school, whether it's indoor or outdoor. Some days I think every day, kids just need a break. They're not little robots. They need a break, a brain break, a movement break, all of the above. So I think that that's important to think of. But I just wanted to kind of share with you what kinds of activities we do during indoor recess, just in case you were curious. And yeah, I hope that you found this video interesting. If there's any topics that you would like me to discuss in the future on my channel, please be sure to let me know. I'd be glad to get something filmed for you. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys next time.